Guys? Um, Metaphysical Advisor Monterey Bible. I am doing a quick reading, not a reading. I'm so used to doing readings. I'm doing talking about the Mandela effects. Jeffrey Dahmer. If you haven't noticed, everyone's talking about Jeffrey Dahmer now, not because it's Halloween or whatever. Netflix show just came out recently, and it's a series. Pretty pretty good, pretty good, and it's putting back into the collective consciousness. Good old Jeffrey Dahmer, who cannibalized and murdered gay men that he was attracted to. The story is gruesome, but I want to talk about some of Mandela effects, and I truly believe that this is another possible Mandela effect for those who believe in it. The Mandela effect is about memories changing or history changing, timelines changing. So it's really hard to prove whether they're true or not, or here or there. It's just, it is what it is, you know? We started out with Bernstein Bears, or um, how do you spell Bernstein Bears? Interview with the vampire or interview with the vampire, sex in the city or sex, what is it? Sex and the city. It's so many things. So many things, and it'll drive you crazy if you let it. But with this one in particular, because Jeffrey Dahmer is back in the collective consciousness, everybody's talking about it. And I want to ask you a question, like, seriously, how do you remember Jeffrey Dahmer died? Take a moment and leave me a comment below. Go ahead. Write a comment below. I'm going to give you like 5 seconds to write that comment. Don't erase it, don't delete it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you can pause it if you it takes you longer to write, because I know some of y'all be like typing with one finger. But Jeffrey Dahmer, how did he die? Now, if you just said, "Oh, he died in prison," I need you to be a little bit more specific. He was killed by a prison inmate. I need you a little bit. I need you to be a little bit more specific. How did he die? I'm gonna give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. How did he die? Now I'm starting to notice in this reality that there's two different stories that people remember. There's one that I remember and one that I don't remember, but I'm now becoming familiar with at 44. I was a little kid when the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing happened. I was not aware that it was related to homosexuality or anything like that. I was a kid. I didn't know a lot about sexuality, surprisingly, but I didn't. I didn't know a lot about what people did. I knew there were gay people, but I didn't know the ins and outs about it. I wasn't exposed to that. It was the 90s. Um, I did hear about his death. I heard he was eating people. He was killing black guys and he was eating people. He was a cannibal, which was traumatic enough for that time period. And when he died, I heard he was anally raped with a broomstick, and the damage was so great that he had to go to the hospital and he died in the hospital. If you remember that, then you are part of the percentage of people who remember a Mandela effect that never happened at all. Broomstick not involved. The real story that happened in this timeline is that Jeffrey Dahmer was killed by an inmate. He was bludgeoned to death in his head with a metal bar. He was never anally raped or molested or anything, which I find very weird because of the type of crime he does. Most guys are raped in prison, and we kind of know that. So to say that he was never raped in prison kind of is very surprising for me to even discover that. Like, what? He was never raped? Um, by that with a broomstick too. The person who killed him was a black inmate, but I can understand the black inmate wanting to kill him, but just hitting him over the head when he sexually assaulted other young people of color. I hate using that word, but other young ethnic men, gay men, and he got away with it, or he got put in prison. Um, I find it surprising that someone wouldn't try to. The Italy rape story makes sense that he would be killed. It's almost cathartic that someone would do that. That would be seem like poetic justice that someone would do that. But in this reality, it never happened. He just got hit over the head. He got shanked once in the neck, according to the movie, and he got hit over the head with the metal bar. So I want to know how many people remember that. Um, I'm sure the majority of people are going to remember that he got killed in prison. I'm sure a lot of people are going to remember specifics that he got hit with a metal bar. But I want to know how many people remember him getting raped with a broomstick, because that's what I remember. That's what I remember as a kid. And I'm telling you, when I had no consciousness of Jeffrey Dahmer, I was no interest in Jeffrey Dahmer. I didn't find out till later in life that Jeffrey Dahmer was gay. He was doing this to gay men. The whole gay thing was not even a part of my lexicon back then. I was a church boy. So to hear that he got raped with the broomstick seemed horrendous. I was like, why would somebody do that? So that was very traumatic for me. But I want to know how many other people remember that, because I really believe that this is another Mandela effect of changing history. I was talking to a friend about it, and he was saying that there that they had saved his brain, and he said that in the movie Demolition Man, there was a scene where they had saved his brain, and his brain was still on in the lab. So you guys can go check that movie out, Demolition Man, to see if there's a scene with Jeffrey Dahmer's brain being preserved. Actually, in the Netflix movie, they were talking about saving his brain, but in this reality, actually the brain was destroyed. So maybe this is a good thing, because in my reality, he was killed by a broomstick up the ass. Um, but maybe they saved his brain for science to see why he was crazy, which can be very problematic because we have cloning technology now and all types of stuff, and we don't need another Jeffrey Dahmer in the world. But in this reality, they destroyed his brain. So maybe that's good. Maybe the change in history is good. So I'm don't really care either way, but I really want to know. I find it really interesting because I really don't remember anything about his brain being destroyed. So there's the second thing I want everyone to research: Demolition Man. Check that scene out to see if you can find the scene where Jeffrey Dahmer's brain is being preserved. Because if that's in history, if that's an artistic, creative choice, it's possibly that someone else remembers Jeffrey Dahmer's brain being preserved. But in this reality, it was destroyed. His entire body was destroyed. I got mosquito bites all over my body. It is mosquito season here in Texas. Anywho, those are the thoughts I wanted to share with you guys. I will talk to you later. Leave me a comment below and like this video if you want more. And if you don't do it, then who will?